Well, welcome everyone. Good to see you all back with us once again.
Hey, hey.
And look, we rejoin, our party aboard the station Celestial Sanctuary in the Luminara's Embrace system, where they are looking for a way to find themselves a place on the upcoming convoy beyond to the Singing Vale. So, does anyone want to jump right in with what you were doing?
So, the cunning plan.
I strapped the
Indeed.
bomb to Amaya and sent her with the Leia Hutzlayer dress in the direction of the other table.
Oh, hell no, my friend. Hell no.
Why
Is
not?
there a
Hey, it's not like you're going to lose anything that you haven't already lost.
My humanity, perhaps?
Overrated.
As I recall it, the bomb was more of a strong medicine with certain effects. So
Yes,
it could
Yes,
be
it
interesting.
is. So, for me, unless you've got another smart ass comment, Miguel.
I'm full of them.
I know you
Sorry.
are. We were going to somehow smuggle aboard the concoction that Gadriel made to the crew of the Grey Ghost Folly and hopefully incapacitate most of the crew. At the same time, remember that our Twi'lek friend, Drax? No, not Drax.
Voska Trill it was,
Vodka
yeah. He
Trail,
was
yeah.
just the
There's
fellow
too
that you
many
spoke to.
NPCs now.
That's right, yeah. Yep.
Anyway, he wants to get some data from the data vault of that ship as well.
That's right. That's right. Yep.
So,
And so he had sort of suggested that if you could get the data, he could arrange for that entire ship not to leave and you could take their place. But I think you were looking at instead trying to just join the crew in lieu of others
correct.
stepping aside.
I don't
Yeah.
remember the second part, but okay.
Yes, boss. Just nod and go ahead with it.
I'll watch the door while you go and get it.
Yeah. The other little bit is that you'd sort of been making your way along with the assistance of some young sort of street urchins that you'd kind of enlisted to sort of look out for you.
Yeah.
Dash, that's right. And they had just sort of spotted a KX series droid that had been sort of following you in the distance.
Yeah. So the question to the kid is like, hey, how do we disappear out of here without anybody seeing us? I know that you must have know the back alleyway.
Yeah, he says, "Look, follow me this way." Give me, I think, actually, before we do that, let's roll for the light side, dark side pool, actually, before we get into anything
Yes.
else.
Ooh, I give you 2.
Wow.
Wow.
This is a disgrace.
Stacked in your favor.
6 light, 1 dark. Wham bam. Thank you, ma'am.
Well, things ever ebb and flow, so we'll see how things go as time goes on, but it's a nice start. Yeah, very good. Very good. Okay. All right, so that's sort of as it stands. Maybe the force is leaning in your direction for the moment. Yeah, so it sort of dash offers to kind of spirit you away. So give us a sort of stealth roll as you sort of try and disappear into the crowd. We'll give you 2 blue because you got the assistance of Dash to kind of negotiate things.
Okay.
This is just for Gadriel.
Okay. And the difficulty 2 purples.
Let's go with 1 red, 1 purple for now. Yeah.
Red, 1 purple. We got force points, so why not? I'm going to flip a die.
Go for it.
A lot of advantage.
But it
Failing with
fails.
4 advantages. Yeah, okay.
Woo!
So look, try as you might, it's pretty you're sort of in the kind of under city sort of area of the station. And there's a lot of sort of, how do you say, sort of like unauthorized structures and so on going on, and it sort of just proves a little bit difficult to sort of tuck after the little urchin through some of those spaces, and so he sort of disappears off beyond you, and you kind of get a little bit sort of caught in a space where you're easily sort of seen by this approaching droid, but something significantly advantageous does happen. What would you like that to be? Any thoughts?
Probably I got stuck next to a vent, one of those vents that periodically just exude vapor or steam or something. And as the droid is surveying the area, the backflush comes out and saturates the area. So he's stuck, but he is stuck inside a cloud of.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So you're there. You're sort of in a bit of a dead end, but you're obscured at the moment as this big cloud of vapor has kind of just covered the area. Yeah, absolutely. What do you want to do next?
Oh, since there is no more immediate danger, I'm just going to let them pass by and then backtrack and get out the way that I come in.
Yep. Okay. All right. Well, look, I think with that roll, you loop back and get away. But as you sort of glance back through the crowds, you do see one of them sort of has their eye on you as you kind of make your way up out of the Undercity area. So you haven't completely slipped the tail. But, they're not immediately, on your breathing down your neck.
Yep.
Whatever that's worth. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll keep on moving.
Okay. So let's maybe sort of, because I think others were back at the ship. Is that right? Yeah. So maybe we'll bring the party all together and reconvene to plan the next steps at the ship.
Yep. So back in the ship, pull out the sleeping draught and these ones and just put it all together and make a poultice or something like that and pack it back. And like, okay, well, do we know where is the crew of the other ship hanging out? Because we're going to buy them a round of drinks.
We know where that ship is berthed.
You do, yeah, you do.
Yes, we're not going to fit this to a ship.
No, but they'll be in the vicinity of.
No.
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 Okay.
Do you go to a spaceport after months of being in deep space to hang out in your ship? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, no, absolutely not. No.
She just looks around the ship that they're hanging out in.
Seriously, what's wrong with you?
Okay, I think that we need to make ourselves presentable and go hit some bars.
Yes, I think you need to dust off your pink cowboy boots and do your magic, Marcia. I don't trust that one.
Who are you indicating to?
Yeah, take a guess.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Right. Get changed.
And entrusts to Varsia the magical potion.
Okay.
So it's up to Vazia to deliver it, hey? What's it kind of contained in this magical potion?
All laxatives and a sleeping draught mixed together.
Yep.
So this could end up very, very bad for the casual ingester.
Yeah, that's right. Or accidental ingester. That's
Yes.
hoping to.
Hopefully we can get a few of them. At least enough to take out the ship.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I mean, maybe if we have somebody sort of try to lead a role, but certainly others can assist. A sort of streetwise role to work out which bar they might be operating out of, covering. Or maybe you want to approach trying to find out where they are. If you have another approach, by all means, let me know.
Okay, hold on. Did you say streetwise?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, streetwise, but yeah, if you got a different approach.
Marcia, you have good streetwise, don't you?
Yellow and 2 green.
I have 3 yellows, 1 green.
Wow.
Yeah. So you could do that wouldn't for the skilled assistance you'd still be 3 yellows, 1 green, but you could add blue for anyone else who wants to assist. So if everyone joins in, you could add 3 blue to that.
Yeah.
Yep, I'll give you a hand.
And look, we'll have it be against I think just against 3 purple. Like it's a relatively difficult task, but not insurmountable.
Am I flipping a foresight point?
We've got plenty of them. Burn them.
All right.
So gather them together. Yeah. When I need them later.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So 4 successes, 3 advantages. Yeah. Okay. So you you ask around, and look, I think it probably becomes pretty apparent that the crew of Gregor's Folly have really been enjoying their sort of shore leave time, and so it's kind of, people. It's no secret that they've been hanging around a sort of dive called Pop's Bar. That's kind of in that sort of more seedy area of town, although not quite as down market as where you actually went to get the potion itself. And I think in terms of for your advantage, I think you probably also get a sort of bit of a lead on that there's a kind of access point sort of around the back that's regularly used for deliveries and so on that isn't particularly well guarded. It's a pretty bit of a lax sort of establishment. So you kind of know that there's a front and rear entry and you could approach from either way.
Yeah, I convey that to the rest of the party. Like, there's a back door.
Yeah.
So let's get going. Angels.
You planning to spike their drink?
Yeah, drug them, lure a couple out of the back to be knocked out.
Yep.
Rather let the drugs do the dirty work, but
We could seek Robogel on one of them and give them pleasant dreams.
Brutally slay the whole crew.
No, absolutely. Lightsabers back on the ship. It's not coming out to play.
I think we need to move to more actively tracking conflict, hey, as we go along, so we can
Yes.
see the slide.
Yes.
Yes, it's a slippery slope.
Very. And you've just greased it for me. Thank you very much.
Hey, I'm just talking. You're acting.
All right, let's go poison these.
Fuzzy is gonna walk in completely bold as brass and make a spectacle of herself as she always does. Make sure that every single eye in the place is on her.
Yep.
Have we got any descriptions or anything of these crew members? Are they easy to work out kind of?
Yeah, I think in terms of your kind of intel, you got a sort of sense of the crew and kind of, obviously other than the Wookiee, the first mate of the ship is a lady called Vina Bibble, who's a Pantoran, so they've sort of got a kind of a blue skin sort of appearance. But not to be confused with Chiss, because you need more species, of course. But yeah, Pantoran lady, sort of middle-aged, kind of fairly grizzled sort of character, easily recognizable, as well as it's a relatively small freighter, so there's a crew of about sort of 5 others that are there, including their sort of stalwart and ever-present droid, who's kind of always with them as well, who is called DZ3.
Fuzzy is going to try and clock the youngest, most naive member of the party.
Yep. Yeah, look, pretty obviously, like having a look at them, of the 5 of them, it stands out that there's one that's, oh, look, if not an adolescent, sort of barely sort of adult sort of, early 20s, human male, he's clearly sort of like drinking to sort of keep up with the others to prove himself. He sort of stands out, sort of dark haired, smooth skin complexion that one has when you sort of, is he 20? Is he not yet? He's a young fella.
Okay, so she's gonna sidle up to him, take the seat
Yep.
next to him, lean over, and go, buy me a drink.
And he sort of slurs a little bit and says, "Hey there, gorgeous, absolutely," and sort of signals the bartender, and one for my lady friend over here, anything you like. What was that, stabbing him in the neck? Just takes a dark turn.
It has happened.
Turns out that the medication's being delivered by a sort of injection to the neck when you could have just put a nitri. Why not? Classic.
So she will, having learned her lesson, go for something lightly alcoholic, not.
Yeah.
likely to knock her out completely like her previous experience on this station.
Yep.
And
All
then
right.
she's just going to proceed to distract like the hell out of him.
Well,
She's full
just
on flirting.
yeah, absolutely. Just as he does that, you sort of see like, coming up in between them, is this Vina Bibble, this kind of grizzled Pantoran, sort of middle-aged woman, sort of like, I see my young friend here has made a friend. Isn't that fantastic? And sort of, and as the bartender comes over, make that 3, and so they plop down 3 identical drinks kind of in front of you, kind of ready to go. Yeah. Tell me about the distraction.
It's Vazia. She's just going to turn her full smile onto this interloper as well.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
The whole I'm new to the station, never been here before.
yep.
Young friend here looked friendly. Unlike the scowling countenances, and she'll wave around.
Yep, very good. What you're going to do is make a skullduggery test, but it's going to actually be an opposed one, as she sort of like tries to sort of flip the drinks around as well, and reshuffle things, and which one does the dose end up in.
Oh.
Maybe unless you're like
Okay.
the Princess
So,
Bride and choose to put it in all 3 because you've built up a resistance or something.
yep. So what I'm going to do is I am going to use works like a charm, and I am going to roll presence instead of that.
Yeah. Okay. And how many drinks are you putting it into? 2, 3, 1? Waiting for another opportunity.
Oh
2.
no. Yeah, 2.
2. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Fair enough. So,
Yeah, it's a case of like flipping a point.
yeah. Okay.
I'm going
So
to give her a blue die because I am purposely going to stumble into one of them and distract them from the drink.
Yep. Absolutely. No, that's definitely valid. Absolutely. Okay. So, you're going to be rolling. The initial pool is going to be against 2 red, 1 purple. And then I'm going to say you can have 2 blue because of how intoxicated, especially the young fella is. He's pretty sort of out there.
So 2 red, 1 purple, 2 blue.
But I'm going to flip 1 as well, so we make it actually 3 reds.
3 reds.
And
3
then
red.
2 blue, and then you're adding a blue from Gadriel's assistance as well,
Yeah,
plus
but
whatever you're bringing for your.
But I can roll 3 yellow and 1 green. Yeah, let's roll this sucker. No!
Ooh.
Failed 3
Okay.
advantages and 1 to spare.
Oh Lord.
Good
Wow.
lord.
Okay.
Gonna get messy.
All right. So I think you slip it in, and look, I think the glasses kind of get bumped around, sort of things get lost track of a little bit. And you're not really sure where it ended up. Yeah, I mean, I think maybe for your advantage, you sort of feel like, I don't know, any ideas what you want for your 3 advantages? Moderate level of something
Okay,
good.
so I think that a decent advantage would be when Gadriel has bumped into them, one of the drinks spills. So that
Yeah.
kind of
Okay, so yeah, 2 out of 3
he
drinks
has
are
to,
still
like,
up.
yeah, so
Yeah.
she just like pushes the 2 towards that people and like waves the bartender for another one.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think in terms of the despair, I think one thing that you notice is that sort of it looks like most of the crew were there, but when you walked in, Crack Talker wasn't there. But just as you're sort of about to go sort of bottoms up, you see this like big black-furred, fairly dour looking Wookiee kind of like strides into the bar, stone cold sober, and surveys the scene and makes his way over.
So she's been clocked anyway.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What? All you're doing is having a drink with his crew.
That's right. Well, yeah,
It's
yeah.
totally
That's right
legitimate.
for now. Yeah.
Smiles.
Yep. All right. And so there's sort of a mistake. What do you do about the missing drink?
She's just gonna desperately hope that the one that spilled was actually the one that didn't have stuff in it.
All right, fair enough. So look, Vina says, look, you two young folks, don't worry about it. You have these two. I'll get another one, and summons the bartender over. But meanwhile, Terrence, she sort of raises his glass to sort of toast things off. Chink down the hatch.
Bottoms up.
Bottoms up.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy. This is going to end badly.
Yeah. Okay. So it sort of goes down easily initially. What are you doing from here? Another round or?
Gonna say, excuse me a moment. I just need to use the little girl's room and slip out the back door and fingers down the throat. She's not sure.
All right. So you're sort of like halfway to the bathroom when you start to feel, I don't know. You don't know whether it's all in your head or whether there's something going on. But let's have a roll for it and see. So give us a resilience check. And I don't think we really established exactly how strong this thing is, but let's go with it against 3 purple to say it's a fairly potent brew.
It's Gadriel
Um,
made.
That's right. Yeah. And I'm going to roll for the young fella as well to see how he handles it.
Oh, okay. Phew. 1 success, but 2 threats.
1 success, 2 threats. Okay. All right. Well, let's wait to interpret that until we see how the young fella goes. So I don't think he's especially resilient. So we're going to give him 2 greens against 3 purples.
Oh no. He rolled better than I did.
Yes.
3 successes.
Okay, so they've been drinking in this bar for a while. Maybe they've lost all sensation, in their lower regions from the kinds of things that they've been imbibing. He doesn't seem to immediately notice any ill effect. But I think in terms of the threats, I think there's probably some sort of mounting consequence to you both that will be apparent, later on. Sort of ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
But for now, you kind of return from the bathroom thinking, well, did I get it out in time or not? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well,
This may not have
back to
worked.
her original plan to go and tie him up to a bed somewhere.
All right, fair enough. Look, I think we'll sort of say that without making you roll, I think the night passes between the two of you and things kind of head in that direction without pretty easy to see that this kind of young fellow would be swept off his feet by your kind of attentions. But I wonder if there's a backup plan that the other 3 are sort of focusing on, if this isn't as fruitful as you'd hope. As to, given that there's kind of 5 other members of the crew, 1 droid and 4 humanoids hanging around.
Yeah. Well, there'd still
bar
be
still.
some of the potion left.
Yeah, sure.
A lot of
sure,
laxative.
yeah. We'll say there's 1 more dose kind of left after that. Hey,
Yeah,
like, 'cause
so-
you mixed in a couple of different things, so
Yeah,
just
so
ready.
Vazi is going to try and slip that to whichever one of the crew members
Yep,
walks
yep.
past.
Yeah, who wants to
keep-
take it on?
Keep on saucing people.
Yeah. Who grabs it? Who's going to take the poison chalice, literally?
The brew that is true. No, not me. I will drop it.
Bronzite, you're up.
Yeah, time for some spotlight. Yep.
Yes. Time to show some boob and flaunt your assets. Go. Yes, you're muted. Okay. Silence, it's taken as an acceptance. So just say yes. Yes.
Time for a restart. Yeah.
We can't hear
So,
you.
So look, maybe that leaves Gadriel thrust forward into the spotlight as Rinsei is indisposed. Dishing it out and being able to take it being what it is. As I suppose the robotic administrations of Amaya might not be necessarily welcome.
Nope,
Anyway.
she's hiding in a corner somewhere.
You don't want to get too intimate, because when the time comes, it'll be a nasty surprise.
Yes.
Yeah, look, I'll approach the party and say, hey, gents, we're part of another crew. I mean, just to show that I have no ill will with you or any of you, I'll just got you a little something just because I tripped with you and I tripped your drink. So I thought it was the courteous thing to do.
Okay, so you come over and got to offer them around.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. And you're joining in as well?
Of course.
Yeah, of course, naturally. All right. So look, you see that clearly the captain sort of scowls and he's kind of making as though it's time for people to move on soon. So he's not going to partake. But Viner, and then there's the so remaining there's what do we say? So there's a Gamorrean and a Juros, so they're kind of the other two that are there, as well as the droids, obviously a droid.
The Gamorreans survive on trash, so that guy.
Yeah, he's just gonna soak it up.
Yeah.
Regardless.
So give it to the Duros.
Yeah. See if he's kind of more vulnerable to it. All right. Again, give us a
Skullduggery.
Well, I'm thinking maybe first give us a kind of charm roll to sort of approach them, which will make relatively easy. We'll just make that against 2 purple, and then we'll see how that sets you up for the skullduggery roll to follow. Especially like with the captain and the droid sort of like keeping a close eye on things that are sober heads.
Charm. Oh, we have plenty of light side points. So 2 purples, did you say?
Yeah, 2 purples. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So success with 2 threats. So I think you ingratiate yourself with the crew. But Correct Talk has certainly got his eye on you. He's kind of, he's been around in shady places like this before. He knows that they're about to have a big important job. He's a canny Wookiee. He's not going to kind of, fall for anything. So if you slip up, he's going to notice. All right. So give us your skullduggery roll. Again, pretty Emor's pretty kind of drunk. The Juros, he sort of greets you. Welcome, comrade. So give us a skullduggery check, and again, we'll say because of the sort of others present, it's probably relatively difficult, but we'll go against 1 red, 2 purple, and then we'll have 3 black from the others that are sort of looking up.
1 red,
2 purple,
2
3 black,
purples.
and then we'll say you can have a blue because of their level of intoxication.
So I have convincing demeanor as a talent. So that takes out 1 left eye. And how many blues did you say that I have?
So you get 1 from their level of intoxication, 2 black from their vigilance, and then I'll leave the flipping, so it'll just be 1 red, 2 purple. So flip as you need to upgrade if you want to.
Flip 1. And go, fly, my pretties, fly.
This is rare, people. He never fails.
A run of failures, yeah. So a failure with 1 advantage. Yeah, again, I think, in the scheme of things, the drinks kind of get moved around a little bit. I think your advantage is no one really notices you sort of slip it there, but you lose track pretty quickly of where the drink ended up.
Yeah.
I'm thinking there's sort of 4 of you drinking, and I think probably everybody lost track. So I'm just trying to see if I can just roll a D4 here to sort of see if I can just. Let's go. All right, 3. I was going to say you'd be the 4, so it doesn't land on you. But I think it ends up landing with the first mate who kind of drinks it instead. So that could be better or it could be worse. We'll see. Um, all right. And so let's give her a roll and see how she goes. So again, not particularly strong on it, but we want to actually flip one for them to upgrade to see if they can have a slightly better chance. A failure with one threat. Yeah, okay. So look,
Said person blew their pants.
that's right. Yeah, it's not long before Viner, sort of violently, sort of, within 5 minutes or so, sort of like vomits all over the group. And the droid sort of like, they're like, whoa, that went out of hand quickly, kind of thing. And the droid ends up sort of like, tut-tutting and terrible, humanoids and their mess leaking everywhere, and sort of like picks her up and sort of like starts carrying her off back towards the sort of, where they're staying. Yeah, and the others are sort of a little bit sort of sobered by the experience and decide to kind of call it a night, especially under Crack's watchful gaze. The young fella, Terran, seems to be still busy in his, when they don't seem to get any response from him when they hail him, so he's off doing whatever he's doing. Anything from the others in the bar, like seeing all this going on?
Other than the fact that we need another plan.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think this one worked very well.
Are you sort of like following them as they leave, or are you sort of just leaving them to it?
No, I don't need to. I know
happens?
where they're gonna go, so I won't follow them.
Are we sure they're going to go back to their ship, or are they?
Oh,
Are they?
Expect they're gonna go back to their ship.
They're not staying like out of the ship.
You're not sure. Yeah, wouldn't know.
No.
It's possible.
So you could follow them.
Ah.
I mean, where do Terran and Vazia go back to? Are they, where's the, are they getting a sort of love hotel for the night, or are they kind of
Yeah, no,
going back to yours, or same
no,
space?
no. She's going to take him to a hotel and lock him up.
Yeah, right. Okay. Okay.
Pay for the room for 3 days and handcuff him to the bed.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we
Let's
may
deal
have
with
to
that
do
then.
that.
So you kind of you make your way down to what's a good random name for this thing?
An hotel motel.
No, this place is called Polite Provisions, actually, which is an interesting name. And you see that there's a fairly blank face kind of protocol droid there, sort of like serving the customers at reception. Clean and corporate kind of look to the place, and he's like,
"Greetings, sir and madam. How may I assist you today?
Room for the night, please.
How many hours will you require?"
We'll start with one cycle.
"Very good.
and punches in the data on the ship.
Please be advised that any extensions to the room will need to be advised by so time."
And gives you a sort of list of things that you must not do in the room.
Please enjoy your stay.
Do not have orgies.
Yeah, that's right. More like, do not cause damage to the, the environs of the room. Make sure you clear out, before your stated time. As long as you pay, enjoy your time with us.
As long as you pay.
Yeah. Okay. So you sort of get up to the room and you see that it's, fairly basic sort of thing. Terran's kind of getting pretty kind of handsy. What do you do to, lock him down? Sort of whack over the back of the head or something.
Convince him that him being locked up is all his idea.
Yeah, right. Fair enough. Sort of get in his head. But in the absence of all this kind of mystical force stuff, it's just the old-fashioned way, hey?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Give us a I'm having a look. A charm check. So it is going to be opposed by his pool, which would
Does he
be
have that?
well, he's got a certain amount of swagger actually, like, for kind of,
Really?
space pirate kid who's out there, picking up in a bar. So he's actually, I'm just going off his stat block that I'm using for him. We're going to go with 1 red, 2 purple as his opposing.
Ooh.
Cool, but hopefully you can overcome it.
Okay, so I can.
But again, you can probably have 3 blue at this stage from his level. Like he's pretty trashed, and
Okay, so I can go 3 blue. But I can take a disarming smile to lower the defenses. But until the end of the encounter. So if this goes badly,
so lower their defenses, as in reduce their.
So if she does have to knock him out, at least he's down.
Or lower his defenses in combat. Okay, not his social defenses. Yep.
No. But I
that
can
makes sense.
also use my congenial I might take a couple of points of strain and downgrade that by 2.
Yep.
So how many reds does that leave me with?
So I think we started off. What do we start off with? So you had 1 red, 2 purple. So you've downgraded. So that would be you downgraded just once, is it? So 3 purple.
Yeah, I took 2 strain, so I've downgraded it twice.
Yeah, so 3 purple. Oh, twice. Okay, so that would make it 2 purple then, because once you downgrade beyond, take 1 away. Yep.
So 2 purple.
And then you've got 3 blue from his level of intoxication as well.
Hope this will happen.
Ooh.
Yes, 3 successes, 5 advantages, and a trial.
You nailed it.
Yeah. How do you want to sort of narrate how you go about that? Like, how does it go down?
She just gives him an absolute big toothy grin and pulls out a set of cuffs from her back pocket and goes, "Want to try something fun?"
He's like, "Anything, darling, absolutely."
Sucker.
Yeah. So she's just gonna push him under the bed, snap his hands around it. Leave one hand free. She's got to be nice and, leave him with some rations and just remove any kind of communication device.
Yeah.
Got to leave him with something. So give him a big sloppy kiss and then leave.
And he's like, wait. Okay. So you sort of like,
and then on the way out, she'll just pay for like 2 extra days because it's meant to leave in 3 days. Yeah, so she'll.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay. So the droid, no complaints there. He's like, I take it Sir is indisposed. Very well. I take it you've left the do not disturb on the door as well on the way out.
Yeah.
Magic way to avoid being disturbed. Yeah. Okay. Very good. And where do you go from there?
Wander back to the ship.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to flip a dark side point to say that as you're wandering back, the sort of delayed effects of the sleeping potion sort of mixed in with the laxative kick in now of all times, inopportune as it is. You're sort of wandering down a bit of a dark alleyway and you're feeling a bit sort of woozy. Give us a resilience check. And we're going to make that against, let's say 4 purple, actually. Like, it's a pretty strong brew that you've partaken in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is going to go badly. Yep, check failed.
Flat failure.
Oh, no.
Okay. So,
Marcy is going to need new pants.
Well, it's not so much the pants, it's more the sedative aspect. So all of you are a bit sort of perplexed when you get back and you don't actually hear from Vazia. You're not sure where she's got to.
Did we see her accidentally drink the drink?
You saw her drink some drinks. You're not sure what was in it because there was a lot of shenanigans that went on.
Could we be a bit suspicious that she may
You could certainly be suspicious. She's gone off with somebody.
All right.
Not come back as planned.
She might be having a great old time.
Yeah. She could be
taking one
indisposed, in trouble. Yes.
So what's the strategy to get her back? What do you do?
Did she have a communication device on her? Like something?
She did. There's no response to attempts to kind of.
Can we try? Is it possible to like triangulate where she is? Like,
you can give it a go. Yeah, give us a computers check.
No, I'm not very good at that. Just
I think-
normal difficult.
Yeah, just make it against 2 purple because it's allied
Two purple.
No.
Right.
character. So
Hey.
Woo! Yeah. 2 successes. 1.
okay, yeah, 2 successes, 1 threat. Yeah, okay. So I think the threat is that it probably takes you a little bit longer than you kind of hoped as you're sort of stuffing around with the system to try and track it down. But you sort of see that the communicator itself doesn't seem right, but the communicator seems to be, you sort of tap the screen, it seems to be outside the station,
Mm-mm.
Well,
out
that's not
in
good.
space beyond.
No, I think Spazio might be in a bit of bother. Shall we go look for her?
I have to.
Yeah. All right, let's go.
Right.
So it's outside the station. Is it particular outside the station, or?
Oh, sort of like just drifting off into the void kind of thing is where the
Oh,
communicator
no.
appears to be. Doesn't mean that's where Vazia is, but that's where the communicator is.
Well, let's try and let's go and hunt down the communicator, and hopefully we'll find Vazir on the way.
She got spaced.
She's
Yeah,
going
just
into
like
the
brutal,
void.
brutal way to die. Just straight up space. Fail 1 roll, RIP. No. All right, so you go down there. Is it just Runside that's going? Anyone else heading as well?
I'll go take a look.
Yeah,
And
so
I'll leave
Runside, I'm on a-
Gadriel to figure out how to take out that ship.
Yeah,
I
okay.
mean, he's the one that knocked the drinks in the first place.
Yeah,
Uh,
okay. All right, so you kind of head to where you sort of last knew where she was. Give me a perception check, both of you, as you're sort of searching the area. We'll say it's against 2 purple, but also a couple of black because you're unfamiliar with the area.
Oh, right. Or should we flip a light side?
Yeah, why not? We've got plenty.
Yeah.
Okay. 1 success, 2 threats for mine.
Ooh, success.
Wow, 2
3,
triumphs.
3
Okay.
success.
We find her
Yeah.
on the first look.
Yeah, you really find it. 2 triumphs, really find it. You probably, that's quite a remarkable success. You find something else really great as well, which maybe we can come back to thinking what that might be. Any ideas?
The
Anything
Mandalorian
amazing
guy?
What
do you
Yeah,
mean?
Cam-
Oh, I
Cam
just
Bader.
got lost.
Just there. He's also found, yeah. So sort of washed up in the Undercity.
I do believe in luck.
No, that would be a bit much. Yeah, what would it be? I think what you find, I guess, and maybe this will help work out the triumphs, is that you sort of come across this kind of sort of fairly elderly sort of looking, human woman, who's kind of in a sort of stall, down on the sort of Undercity area kind of thing, similar to where you bought the potion. Looks to be selling noodles of some sort. And she's kind of there, sort of like fanning and kind of holding a bowl of broth to this kind of swooning Vazia, who's kind of, there. What you notice immediately, Vazia's sort of stirring and coming to, but you notice that her jacket and blaster pistol are missing, as well as like credit chip and and communicator
Fazia.
has been rolled while passing out in an alley. Um,
Makes sense.
So she's
but otherwise looks to be safe and okay. I'm trying to think about the 2 triumphs. Like, it should be something really significant when you roll or something like that. So I don't know, anything ideas, something you want to, something,
Give us our plan B.
yeah.
yeah. What would you like it to be? Like, anything else come to mind?
I
Well,
do-
we need.
Have an idea.
Oh, yeah.
We need to get the data from the data vault. So is there some way that we can maybe implant a virus onto one of the crew's data cards or whatever, so that when they hook into their system,
Oh, yeah. Good
we
idea.
open a back door to get to that vault?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's say that the one thing that Vazia does still have on her of any value is Terran's data chip that kind of gives him access to the ship
Excellent.
systems. Everything else of value has been stolen and either spaced or refenced on the market.
Oh dear.
I'm going to
Yeah.
thank that lady who's been looking after Vizia and pay her
Oh.
a few creds.
She thanks you. Oh, yeah, anything. No, it's just I do this for any young woman stuck in this situation. It's a terrible thing, these thugs.
Absolutely. I thank you. You've kept her safe.
You sort of,
And at that point, I'm going to take her back to the ship.
Yep.
I'll carry her if I have to.
So I guess
Mhm.
recapping, you're back on the ship. The first mate you left looking in fairly worse for wear, and certainly you've put young Terrand out of action to kind of make it on the next trip, as well as you've got the data chip that you've kind of managed to recover from his possessions.
Mhm.
And you've got sort of 2 days until the Gregor's Folly leaves.
Yep.
What next?
What next? That gives us time to put a virus onto that card and give it back to the crew. So when it gets used, we get the data we need to give
How do we
to
do?
Trill,
Right.
which would then get us access onto the convoy. That
Yep.
was a
Yeah.
plan.
Okay. Yeah. So you're thinking of compromising the entire ship and replacing it with ours?
No, we just need
No.
we need the data.
I think if you get the
Ah.
data, he was saying that you could use it to
Correct.
to basically get them pulled off the convoy and then get
Okay.
insert your name
Right.
in place, so you could take your own ship and be a
Yeah.
member of
Yeah.
the convoy.
Okay. Yeah, but that's what I meant. Like we're inserting our ship instead of their ship.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. That's right. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Whereas the
Right.
alternative, I think, was like replacing crew members and going with them and then following or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, it's better to be in a ship we're comfortable with. And
away from the
so we've
Wookiee.
got to
Important.
So we've got to get that Wookiee's
Scary.
yes. But we need to get the data chip back to them without them getting suspicious.
Well, we need a hacker first to program the virus for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that would be
Yeah.
All right. That's the first step. I was thinking big picture.
how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Now, I seem to recall back on Hiquantra, you were sort of outsourcing your hacking to a dubious governmental third party.
Duros.
But,
It was a Duros as well.
dubious Duros.
Yeah.
But who's going to take the lead on the hacking, if anyone, in the party?
I'm not very good with computers.
Yeah.
Who's
My computer's at 0.
right? So option is we
Gabriel?
find someone.
Yeah. All right. Can we? There's got to be plenty of contacts around that have the skills we need.
So you're going to outsource it to somebody like government contractor style sort of thing, like just push it on, hope that the IT work gets done accordingly. If you push enough money at the problem.
That's right.
Well, if it doesn't work, we're coming for you.
All right. Fair enough. Have you got some credits to dedicate towards that kind of just smoothing that over, or do you want to sort of look for somebody
Do
suitable?
we have credits?
Do have some, not a lot, but we've got some.
Okay.
So I'll probably dip into my personal stash, but it won't be a lot at all.
Okay.
All right. So look, between that and let's have somebody make a streetwise roll then to find somebody appropriate to do the work.
I've got two yellows, 2 greens.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Look, I think we'll make it just against 2 purple. There's, this is a relatively, shady station with things going on at this point. At the edge here of wild space where there's all sorts of shenanigans taking place.
Alrighty. Woo, succeeded. 2 successes, 1 advantage.
1 advantage. Yeah, very good. Okay. So I think for your advantage, I think they're also relatively discreet as well as being able to do it, which is good. So you track down a Sulliston guy named J Mar, who just keep adding more NPCs. Not going to remember any of them. Hope you're taking notes. Never to be seen again. I'm taking the PBTA, name everybody, make everybody real. He's sort of, in this kind of, little kind of booth, he's got, bits and pieces of kind of computer repair gear and, different chips and so on, broken bits of droid. And he sort of takes it and sort of screws in this kind of like jeweler's loop sort of thing and has a look at the chip and he says, yeah, I'll be able to do this for you. No problem. No questions asked. 500 credits. And happy to oblige. let's have him roll and see how he goes, though. Hey,
Alright.
is it intellect for computers? Isn't it?
No, there's a computers thing.
There's a computer.
Yeah, computers
Yeah.
is intellect, isn't it? As the
Yes.
Yeah, it's intellect.
that's that. Yeah. So, you know, because I'm not having all these stat blocks pre-prepared, so I'm just gonna roll for it. All right. So we'll say that I'm gonna flip a dark side to sort of reflect the upgraded security of the ship, but you know he's a formidable slicer, this fellow. So it's the word we use in Star Wars, not hacker.
Yeah.
All right,
Ooh.
success with one threat. I think what I'm going to say the threat is it takes him a little while, and he sort of realizes as he's doing it that he's attached, that what the stakes are a little bit when he sees the name of the ship. So he sort of hits you up for a little bit of a side payment, a bit of extra payment for his discretion. That's the threat. Sort of another 250.
I'm gonna be broke.
But money well spent, hey. So you've got the
yeah.
So and basically he kind of delivers you this data chip that kind of contains this information that seems to fit the exact kind of bill of what Voska was looking for. It looks like it's sort of like a series of kind of cargo points and drop-off points and so on. That's ostensibly just shipping data, but given the context, you feel like it's something that would be valuable as leverage for Voska to kind of use. And
so now we're all set.
So you're all set. You just got to go and talk to Voska, and I guess just sort of in mind when you go to meet with the fixer, things always go fine. There's no problems. Job done successfully.
Right.
Can I have a responsible adult coming with me to hold my hand so I don't cock this
You
up?
mean Gadriel?
Hey, Voska liked you.
Yeah.
I know, but I think that was more luck than anything
I
else.
seem to recall he was sort of I think he wasn't he not somewhat intimidated by you, I think, was what we left it at. Like there was a kind of
I think he was impressed by her
there's a dark
boldness.
edge
She
to it.
lied. She lied to him. He's like,
Yeah.
all right.
He's like, I know you're lying, but I appreciate your moxie.
I give you points.
Yeah. All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
So I've got Amaya, and who was accompanying you? Who was your chaperone to head back to the Flaming Gundark to meet with Voska?
I think it won't be Vazia. She's gonna lay low just in case they go looking for Terrence. It's like, no.
Yeah. You're under.
Also, another jacket lost is must smart really for Vazia,
Oh.
Cost of kick mounting.
Very hard to get pink leather jackets, okay?
Yeah, especially out here on the edge of things, you sort of have to make do with what you can find.
Those pink cows are very scarce.
No pinks out here.
No, sort of more like a kind of cargo handler's work jacket or something. It's about the best you can
do. All right. Do you want me to come with you?
Yeah, if you want.
Yep. Okay. All right, off we go then. Flaming Gundarks.
Yeah, cool. Okay. So you get to this bar. It's a little bit more sort of like, it's nicer than the place you've been frequenting recently. So you mean more at the low life end of things more recently. So even though this is middle of the range, you're suddenly like, and yep, you see the Twi'lek there. Voska, he's kind of, there sitting back at the bar, sort of like with a drink and just, surveying his domain. He sees you and he nods, welcomes you over. How may I help you folks? Are we in business here? You got something for me?
Amaya just looks at him wordlessly and hands him the data disk.
Yeah, and you see him sort of like plug it in, and he's got sort of like pulls over a sort of eyepiece and looks through it, and he's like, very good, very good. We are in business. Excellent. It's always a pleasure to operate with professionals.
Yes, that's us. Definitely.
So what are you going to do with the information?
He says, look, a gentleman never tells his secrets, but you know, I've got something for you, and it basically sort of like transmits to you a sort of updated version of the manifest, and you see that you know, just within the space of time that you're sitting there, what's the name of your ship again?
The Nightfall.
Nightfall.
The Nightfall. That's right. The Nightfall has replaced Gregor's Folly on the sort of list, and he says, "And don't worry, there won't be any protestations on this one. Prektor is certainly not going to want to protest when he hears from me. You're in. Good luck out there. You know, I don't know why you're so desperate to go out there and throw your lives away in the you know, down there, but you know, I guess it's only in pursuit of profit. There's certainly been a lot of fortunes made and lost out here, so
I've certainly lost my fortune.
best.
Let's find another.
Oh,
Yeah,
Thank you, Voska.
pleasure doing business with you.
thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Need anything else? Call me. Call me.
Yes, absolutely. He says, "What, like a sort of long stay at a love hotel or something of that nature?" Do you mean?
Business. Business.
Indeed, pleasure doing business with you.
And yeah, we'll get up and leave before we come to any sort of grief or draw the wrong attention or something like that.
Yep,
Let's
absolutely.
get back to the ship.
Frequently happens to
Yep.
us.
Yeah, okay. So back at the
Yeah.
ship.
Like, walk on. We're in the convoy.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So hopefully,
How
Vazia,
you-
you feel better very soon because we need you to
Yeah.
pilot.
Because we're going on a trip. Whatever you call it.
Going on a flight. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, look, otherwise, you know, you've got a sort of day to wait or something roughly at this stage. So, you know, it's kind of relatively uneventful, you know, period that sort of passes. Do you have anything you want to do to prepare to kind of get ready before you head off towards the Singing Vale and in the convoy as planned?
Make sure the ship's stocked and
Mm.
Yep.
Get some weapons and things.
yeah, I mean Vazia will need a new blaster.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuzzy needs new jacket, new blaster. What else is stolen? Everything else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was everything. Yeah.
Yeah, she wouldn't have had her other weapons on her because that wouldn't
Oh.
have been very conducive.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? So, like, you didn't have your shoe blaster with you?
No. Her
Shoe blaster.
you guys haven't seen her. No, I'm not gonna say what her other.
Oh, damn it! So close.
Oh, damn it! We
hasn't
know
had
you're
to use
hiding
it yet.
something. We know you're hiding something. Everyone here is hiding something.
But one doesn't know it. That's the problem. In terms of preparation, no. Other than what information can we find out about the Singing Vale, about the Uvori? I know that Gadriel's already done some research, but is there anything further? Like as we get closer and closer, are we hearing things from?
Yeah.
from
Again,
whatever?
I think you probably won't need to really roll to sort of hear a little bit about this sort of rumors that go around. So I guess a couple of things. I mean, I think one thing that stands out is that this sort of station that you're at, the Celestial Sanctuary, as rough as it sort of seems, is still relatively kind of within the kind of comforts that you are used to in the sort of outer rim and the edges of the outer rim. But you certainly get the sense that because of this quite restricted nature of the kind of journey through there, that really it's a bit of sort of what you bring with you is what you've got kind of there kind of thing. It's pretty limited. And in terms of the station in the Singing Vale, the station's called Harmonic Echo Station. And this is the kind of the sort of larger sort of staging station that that's more of a sort of tight kind of company run sort of place for Ethereum prospects that sort of then is stations beyond are really quite sort of minor and limited. The other thing that you do here is, so Harmonic Echo Station is kind of located on this kind of massive crystalline asteroid that for whatever reason, because of the kind of the sonic energy that sort of emanates from it, it's quite hard to sort of travel on by ship beyond, and so there's basically often other means of transport that have to be sort of used to kind of travel beyond to stations beyond. So you might need to sort of prepare for leaving the ship behind.
Okay, nothing further from me.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Anyone
I think
else?
I'm
Yeah.
good.
You
Yeah.
know, Vazia might send the key to the handcuffs to the hotel front desk and mention that
Aw.
somebody might want to lend him out.
You've paid for the room. You can stay.
Sort of get a message back from the droid.
Bondage is not one of the services that I provide.
Enough.
Apparently she does.
But anyway, yeah, fair enough. No, that's all sorted. All right, so you're kind of ready to head on. The kind of the convoy kind of sets out as planned. 10 ships. Sort of the larger one at the other end is kind of like more at the large freighter sort of thing, but certainly no like major capital ship type sort of stuff kind of thing. You're kind of looking at a little bit bigger than the Millennium Falcon, sort of down to roughly the size of your ship, I suppose, is kind of at the smaller end. Yeah, and you get a transmission from the lead, basically instructing you to sort of stay in line, follow the beacons, follow the transmissions as we go, and you'll be safe. And as you get through it, you kind of move through these kind of anomalies around the station that you're out of, these fairly kind of ethereal, kind of ghost-like, sort of colossal kind of things. Remember, you saw the ship kind of like firing off into them off in the distance. That's not going on anymore, but you kind of move off into this kind of fairly hazy, strange sort of thing before you kind of jump into hyperspace. And there's a sort of series of jumps. You sort of stop in this kind of these spaces that are sort of these fairly wild sort of flashes of light and strange breedings from the ship and so on coming through. Somewhat unpredictable. Give me a piloting role as you're sort of like keeping up with that sort of process and moving through. We'll have that against 3 purple.
3 successes,
Ooh,
3
nice.
advantages. Yay.
Very good. Okay. All right. So you kind of emerge. You probably travel for. It ends up being like a good sort of like couple of days kind of travel as you kind of like negotiate and jump in and out of these spaces and follow the convoy. And as you emerge from the last one, you see that other than your ship, there are 3 other members of the convoy that have kind of emerged. The kind of lead ship, and then 2 other freighters that one of them is kind of smoking heavily. The remaining 6 didn't make it for whatever reason. You're not sure what happened on that last jump. There was some pretty heavy interference, but you managed to kind of hold it together and get through. You're certainly seeing what some of the risk that you've kind of heard about out of these parts might be about. Or maybe they were just foolhardy and didn't know what they were doing, went off track. But anyway, ahead of you see this kind of massive crystalline asteroid. It's sort of polychromatic sort of crystals kind of sticking up out into the ether. And for those of you that are sort of in tune to the more mystical, so not Vazia, but everybody else, even though you don't all know it yet amongst each other, secretly. Give me a maybe each of you give me a just a white force die roll to sort of, you know, see what energies you're sort of picking up from this.
Uh-oh.
All right,
Oh,
so Maya's got a dark. We've got
dark.
it's got a dark.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Gadriel has some of these kind of sensitivities as well. Is that right?
Yes.
Yep.
Hold on. I'll just got sidetracked.
Oh.
Nope.
Yeah.
One.
So I think, yeah. So each of you are sort of overcome by these. Well, I think certainly from Vazia's perspective, you don't hear anything. But each of you are overcome by these kind of loud, you know, kind of calls, I suppose, like, you know, which maybe for Gadriel, it's sort of a bit more like kind of some sort of dark kind of yearning towards something that you kind of manage to brush away. You kind of don't, you know, it doesn't intrude upon your mind so much. But for Runsai and for Amaya, I think it probably takes the form of something from your past that sort of, you know, is particularly sensitive, that, you know, maybe calls to you, like some sort of, you know, whether it's, you know, something traumatic or something kind of, you know, maybe a temptation that you've given into that, you know, sort of whispers to you about this kind of, you know, this event, whatever that might be. You can narrate that if you like, or you can just, you know, keep that to yourself. Yeah. So I don't know whether you react to it immediately or whether you just kind of, you know, take that on board. You know, maybe for Amaya, it's even feels like it might be coming from somewhere internally. You kind of hear this somewhere, you know, in the amidships, where the where the machine parts are.
Near the warm fuzzies.
Yeah.
Next to the oil reservoir.
Yeah,
Your
yeah,
evil
sort of,
corset.
so just whispering something to your evil corset, sort of going, kill, or something, you know.
Yes.
Kill.
What it does.
Yeah, and then maybe you think, I don't know, maybe for you know, maybe it makes more sense than it does for Vazia why the others went missing for you too, because you think, maybe they steered themselves off course. Who knows? But anyway, you sort of come into this station. You can see it's a sort of down on the surface. There is actually an atmosphere as you sort of come down, so you can sort of, you know, you kind of land on a pad outside, and you see there's this large kind of, you know, I could use the word Taurus, but I feel like the word donut is probably just more relatable, isn't it? Shaped sort of station that's kind of there with kind of landing pads around the outside. And you can see that there's a kind of bunch of kind of square buildings kind of on the kind of north side of the thing that are kind of there. But, you know, immediately you kind of land down near the station. And yeah, it's sort of like greeted by the kind of droid, you know, like,
Welcome to the Harmonic Echo Station. Please report to the station factor at your earliest convenience. The name of Jax Vila.
Jax Vila.
yeah. The other thing that you see as you land is kind of sitting around outside of the station, you know, immediately, you know, not too far from the landing pads, you know, elsewhere, there's kind of droids coming in front, to and fro from the ship. There's the, you know, the other three ships that have landed, you know, going to attend to the one that's kind of smoking. There's kind of maybe one other ship there kind of thing. There's not really many other ships kind of around. But you do notice that you sort of see these kind of, you'd seen the sort of glimpses of them when you were out and about in the previous station, but you see actually groups of these kind of Ivori that are, you know, some of them are just sort of like sitting around under these kind of, you know, ramshackle sort of shelters kind of thing. The light kind of coming from the star is kind of like beating down pretty heavily, so it's pretty hot actually once you land on the ground here. It's more of a sort of like a blue light sort of thing from one of those kind of newer, you know, hotter burning stars. And you see that they're sort of like, you know, sitting down under these kind of lean-tos and things, you know, and you see they've got these kind of intricate kind of face painting sort of arrangements, but a lot of them seem to be sort of sloppy in kind of what they've got. You see a couple of them even look like they might be kind of laying down and you're not sure whether they're stirring or sleeping or whether they're okay. But, you know, there seems to be a bunch of them in kind of fairly they're not well looked after kind of thing, like, fairly unkempt, kind of, not at their best. So whatever that's worth. Yeah, but onward to the station, I suppose. That you can see the door ahead. Yeah, heading on in, or
Yeah.
anything else you want to do?
Yeah, heading on in.
Yeah.
Can we breathe the atmosphere, or do we?
You
have
can,
to
yeah,
wait
you
for-
can. Yeah, it's hot, but you can breathe the atmosphere. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Um,
Let's get inside because it's hot. Oppressive.
yeah. 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 Okay. So yeah, you kind of arrive and sort of take him through to this office. It sort of seems like as you head in, there's a lot of kind of like, whether it's like droids, and there's a couple of other staff kind of buzzing around. Probably, I don't know, a handful of them kind of thing, like 10 or so kind of thing you see coming and going. It seems like everybody's kind of busy doing something, but there's a real sense of kind of disarray. Like, things certainly aren't as orderly as you're used to, as civilized. It seems like, you'll see a sort of human guy kind of like yelling at a droid and kind of like beating on it with some sort of like, torque wrench kind of thing. And it kind of like buzzing at him sort of angrily in response. And you kind of get in to see Jax, who's this kind of Rhodian, who's kind of like sitting by a desk, with the badge of the kind of Ethereum Prospects kind of station manager. And he's sort of like, again, he's sort of like there, sort of fidgeting and, playing around with this kind of droid head that he's kind of like playing with. And he sort of like has this kind of eye loop over and looks up and he says, the new convoy. Out with it then. How can I help you? What have you brought for me? What have you got?
What have we brought for him?
Yeah. Ooh.
Supplies.
Do we know why the convoy was happening, or have I just forgotten?
Yeah, that's right. Well, I think they do bring supplies through to the other stations. But I think you guys in particular were heading out looking for Dark Ages sort of further beyond. And so that's, probably what you'd present yourself as, because you haven't got a hold full of, useful parts or anything, or, food supplies or anything for them.
That they know of.
That they know of.
So can we just say,
We're carrying a parcel for him. That is our cover story.
Yep.
Yeah. We're looking for Dark Ages.
Yeah, okay. All right. So he says, oh, I see. Okay. And you see that as he's kind of like working on this kind of droid brain, he actually sort of like, he's sort of a bit sort of distracted, and you see him sort of like pull the whole thing kind of open. And inside, do any of you have a lot of experience with like tinkering around with droids or anything? Anyone got any particular mechanical experience?
Oh, my character does actually.
You do?
Oh, yeah. Oh.
But like sort of self-care kind of stuff.
He walked into
It
that one.
predated the corset. It's okay.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to work that in.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But no, so you see as it peels it open, there's this kind of rather non-standard modification that's kind of going on, which is this kind of large kind of dark with a sort of like orange red sort of like glow to it, sort of crystal that's kind of wired into the droid's kind of memory core that is unfamiliar. You haven't seen this kind of aspect to a droid brain before.
Can I make a guess?
Yeah, you can make a guess. Yep.
Ethereum shard.
Yes, this is an Ethereum shard. Absolutely.
Oh.
So he's kind of like, tinkering at it, and he sort of says, so you're here looking after Dark Ages, are you? Well, certainly sorely needed. The last expedition to attempt to go out after him, I believe, has not yet returned. So you're certainly welcome to head on to the next station. Have you been briefed on the process? Many don't. So, stop me if you've heard all this before. It's important that we get out there, because I think these wonderful shards, such wonderful things, so much that we can do. And you see sort of like, keeps tinkering with this thing, distracted as he's kind of doing it. And sparks flying off the thing. Distracted as he is. And he sort of says, look, what you'll need to do, you'll need to leave your ship behind here and travel overland by pack animal, to the sort of station. It's about 300 clicks over the wasteland sort of yonder. Because of the the deadly nature of the hyperspace anomalies. We're not able to kind of fly from here to there, as the nature is sort of work of the system here. But there has been a ship that was kind of painstakingly hauled over land and set up there that I believe they were meant to take out, but the last fellow was meant to go, and so apparently the thing broke down, and he lost his mind and didn't manage to get it fixed before he went off the map. So yeah, that's
His mind.
his mind, indeed. Yeah.
That doesn't bode well.
Figuratively or literally.
Well, reports are sort of ramshackle that we get back. Some of my immediate subordinate that was on the last trip isn't the most kind of reliable fellow by the name of Vox Kanar. You can track him down if you like. He came back with the last caravan. He's a bit sort of overly interested in the Evori and all of that sort of business that he's gone a bit rogue.
Interesting. Okay.
It's important work that you're doing. So if there's anything I can do, but otherwise, as you can see, I've got my hands full here. And he's again, sort of like finishes with this kind of droid head and then moves over to this kind of chassis that's nearby and kind of clicks it into place, and the thing sort of like whirs into life. Again, he sort of proceeds to like plug in it. He just keeps doing technical stuff with it, kind of thing. But
What do the shards do?
you asking him that, or?
Yes.
Yeah. So he says they, there are many potential applications, but certainly in Android engineering, they provide for a enhanced, performance and personality matrix that's proven most useful. Yeah, we've certainly found it interesting also that there's some interesting data that we've managed to garner by quizzing such droids, although it can be a bit of a process to extract.
What do you mean?
Well, they can be somewhat reticent sometimes in giving us information, but they sort of talk about a previous civilization that created the shards and give sort of fragmentary details of the nature of it. Seems like it was a fairly powerful spacefaring civilization from the information they give us. They also sort of talk about a thing called the reliquary, but we've never really been able to get to the bottom about what that really means.
Have you got any ideas?
The only other information I kind of have is that Dark Aegis in one of his last reports certainly talked about being close to locating the reliquary, that he'd made some significant inroads with the Evori, and had felt that he would be able to track down this item itself and study it further.
So the shards aren't Evori manufacture, although the Evori now are in control of them. They source them.
He says, well, there's a couple of theories. One is that the Evori are a sort of degenerate remnant of this civilization that have that no longer understand the technology but still know where to access it from ruins that they can locate. Or another is that they're unrelated, and that whether they were a kind of client species of the civilization or whether they had nothing else to do. They've kind of moved in the vacuum that followed. So we're not really clear yet. They certainly don't have a lot of technical knowledge of how they work. They, at best, they might use them as a sort of, decoration. Smaller shards, and some of the more powerful chiefs sometimes use them in their facial markings and so on, but they don't, otherwise use them for any advanced technical purpose.
All right. Interesting. And the last contact you had with Dark Ages?
Last contact really was this message saying that he's kind of close to finding the reliquary. Mentioned about there'd been some sort of heavy losses in a recent conflict, but that they'd kind of mastered the situation, and sent the largest haul yet that we've had of the Ethereum shards. All that could be done really to kind of fit them on the pack animals. It's quite a remarkable haul. But that's been some 6 months now. So
do we have a last known location?
Yeah, so you kind of it's sort of in the Umbral Desolation in the kind of station, the sort of central, the sort of what's the word, inner station that's sort of set up there, near something called, which we've kind of called the Umbral Citadel. That's kind of this ruin that he's kind of used as a base. At least reportedly, he's like, I've never been out there.
Oh, okay. You've never been there. Okay.
I've never been past this station, but certainly enough interesting possibilities here. It's good work that the company's doing.
Yes. Right. All right. Well, I guess we've got to think about going to the next station, tracking down Aegis.
Yeah. He says, make sure that you've got some degree of, preparation to try and repair this ship, because I think I'm not sure what sort of state it's in, but you're not going to get much further if you don't, if you can't get it working.
Right.
Okay.
Thanks for the advice.
Yeah.
I guess we'll leave and reconvene somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as you leave, the droid sort of like starts kind of talking to them in this kind of language that you don't understand. But it's kind of like this dark kind of guttural sort of noise that sounds strange coming from the droid's vocal manipulator. But yeah.
It speaks to us or to...
No, speaking to him. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, right. Is he speaking
But
back?
it's sort of a little bit... No, he's not, but he seems to be taking it in.
Right, okay.
Sort of making notes on a data pad.
Oh,
These shards are very interesting.
yeah. Very.
I actually wonder how a droid is able to recount things that it's never experienced.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
Are the shards some form of
Sentience?
recording device,
Or
even?
recording device?
Yeah.
Do I get... if I try and not use the
Force?
Force, but try and just be aware of it, can I... Is there something different about that droid versus...
Yeah. I mean, definitely around, as soon as you saw the shard, any of you that are sensitive to it, it feels uneasy. That's just fine. It's just strange. Like,
Yeah,
the shard.
yeah.
It's a bad
'Cause I
feeling
was
about
wondering.
this kind of situation. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, there's crystals or shards in a lightsaber that are force sensitive. So yeah, I'm wondering about these ones. So yeah, we definitely get an uneasy presence, like an uneasy feeling. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
That does not sit well with Amaya at all.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, I mean, I think the other thing that stands out, I mean, obviously the journey in, but also when you think about the sort of Avori around the outside and the kind of wealth that's obviously being made of the company, they're in a pretty bad way, a lot of them, and that in itself is pretty unpleasant. Like, they're not well off for all this.
Very colonial, to put it.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
British East
Right.
India
Dutchies,
Company.
that's it. Correct.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm
Dun.
The new Dark Lord. The old Dark Lord.
Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
Okay. We need a plan. We
Yeah.
find this derelict ship and we finish this journey to
The
the
next stop.
Umbral Citadel, and hopefully we find Dark Aegis.
Alive.
Yes. Alive.
Alive. Yeah.
Right. What sort of pack animals do they take to travel?
Yeah, I was just having a look at interesting Star Wars pack animals. I think I'm going to go with this, which is called a shack. So I'll see if I can share this as a
Ooh, Shack Attack.
great 90s reference, though, Shack Attack. So this thing, it looks not unlike a
Oh,
It
great
looks
big
like a great big
oh my
tick.
goodness.
tick, yeah, a tick with legs.
Oh my
Where do
god.
you sit?
What the heck? How does that exist?
I don't know. But they've got the thing sort of like all loaded up with sort of saddles and panniers and so on, and, a couple of sort of seats up above. But they're not ready to go yet, but they've got a kind of, stable out the front that you see these things kind of
This thing
Awesome
is
track.
not built for speed.
not built for
No.
speed. No, absolutely not. Or comfort.
It's going to be a very long trip.
Yeah, that's right. And yeah, you see that it's going to be a bit of a slow journey. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. In terms of like, when you can depart, I think the rest of the people on the other convoy are basically kind of delivering supplies and so on,
Right.
and not sort of continuing on. But you sort of quickly you do meet this guy Vox Kana, who was kind of came back from the last voyage. He's a kind of Devilronian fellow, so one of these kind of devil horn sort of dudes, and he's a fairly sort of flamboyant kind of guy. He's like, hey, fresh grist for the mill. Hey, good to see, somewhat brave souls ready to head out, into adventure. You see that he kind of, at all times is kind of not just kind of like heavily armed. Like he's got, a couple of blaster pistols at his side, but he actually has slung across his back this like pretty impressive looking flamethrower that he, carries around with him at all times as well. And he definitely comes across as a sort of shoot first, ask questions later sort of type. He'll gladly lead you out, on another expedition once we're kind of all ready to go. He sort of mentions that, the Evori need a sort of, sort of a firm hand to sort of make sure that we kind of stay on track. But they know the way. They do know the way well, so we'll get there safely. I'll get you there.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
How's the
twinging everyone's spidey sense, isn't he? He's like,
He
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah.
Mm.
I think we need to learn
Yeah.
more about this
Absolutely.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we need to watch our backs with this person.
Indeed.
One does not want to end up finding themselves.
Stranded.
How
Dead.
Yeah.
we cut out the middleman and just work with the Evori.
Potentially.
Oh.
Look, and maybe that I think might be a good point, to pause for now. Hey, like as you sort of consider the overland trip and Vox and getting your into terms with him and the trip beyond.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll stop there for tonight. Thanks, guys. That was fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks everyone for listening. We'll see you next time.
Have a